Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. A little bit cold here today, but I'm fed up of sitting around the house, so I've decided to just come out and try and do something. The gearbox is built. It isn't painted, but it's built. And what I've just done, I've just put the engine on end like that, so that, and what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to take the gearbox off that little stand, get it here and plonk it on. And like I have been doing, I'm going to try and use gravity to help me by just having it like that, and it won't be hanging on the, you know, on the clutch splines. I'm going to take the tower off, you know, it just saves that little bit of weight. So what I'll do, I'll get it off and I'll just make these just fall away. These have been good, these have. These have been good. Took me, you know, less than an hour to make them. You don't want to put grease anywhere else really, because you know you risk it flinging off, and if it's on something that spins, it flings off. It can fling off. Okay, that didn't go very well. Well, that went well, that went down. It's down. It isn't down on this dowel, but it, you know, it's down. That's good actually. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember, but I made sure that these bolts were lined up when I tightened the oil pan down, and these bolts have just threaded in now by hand, so that's good, isn't it? Now the thing is, it's going to be rather heavy this end now, isn't it? Can't help that. Getting a bit heavy now for that stand, look at it wobbling. I wonder if that is like some of that, you know, like core wire that they talk about. That's just come out the front. I've got a pair of water pumps I can put on. I'm getting a bit worried about the weight of it though. It's definitely going a bit that way now, isn't it? Just put a jack down there and just supported it a little bit. I'm not going to get crazy with it now, so it's just a case of bolting the water pumps on. Just an attempt to kind of try to stop the metal from rusting. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use some of these bolts that I've got here. I'm not going to take time now to start searching out 8 correct nuts and bolts. I'm just going to bolt them on. Okay, that's going to do for this little session. I didn't want to spend a long time out here because it is pretty cold. It's about minus, I know it's not cold on global standards, but it's cold in the UK. It's about -2, -3, and there's no heating in this garage. So I'm nice and warm though, don't get me wrong, I'm not cold. But, you know, I can't really start painting or anything. But I just wanted to do something. I just wanted to do something to progress the job a little bit. Okay. Boink. Okay, thank you very much for joining me in the garage then. A little bit more progress. A little bit every day. That's all you can do, isn't it? A little bit every day. And bit by bit things get done. Okay, thanks a lot then. Catch you next time. Bye. Hello, look, it's my truck. My 41 pickup. I don't know why, but it's stopped charging. When I showed that bit of video the other day, where I was drying off all the plug leads and everything with the hot air gun, one of the viewers noticed that it wasn't charging, and that viewer was absolutely right. Once again, the power of the, you know, putting things on the internet, people look out for you. I'm not quite sure where to look. I've got the cover off the regulator there. If I poke and prod at those lever things, it doesn't seem to make any difference. So I think it might be something actually to do with the dynamo itself, the generator. Not really sure how to test it, to be honest. I'll just show you how it is. So there's the ammeter. It is wired up the right way around. I'll put the lights on. You can see it's not trying to charge, is it, at all? I suppose all I can do is switch components and see what makes a difference. Okay, I'll bring it back when I get to the next stage. Well, that was an easy fix. I put this other regulator on, connected it up exactly the same. I didn't try flashing any leads or anything because the generator, the dynamo, is already, you know, polarised, and I've just started it up. Just give it a little bit of revvage. That's charging nicely now, but good solid charge. Okay, so that leads me to the question then, what went wrong with that other regulator? Is it just a bad connection? Because I need a regulator for the 32. That's alright, isn't it? Let's put the headlights on. So you've got to have some revs on to overcome the headlights. But it is capable of charging decently. Well, that was a simpler fix than trying to mess about with the actual dynamo itself. Thank you very much for joining me then. A quick and simple fix. I'll probably best order another one. Okay, thanks a lot then. Cheers, bye. I put the original one back on. I cleaned all the terminals on the original one and I put it back on, and now it appears to be charging to a certain degree, but it seems to be cutting off at a lower rate of charge than the other one. All I know is not to mess about with these voltage regulators. Every time I've ever touched one, I've always ended up having to buy a new one. But at least it's charging now. If I put the lights on, it is much the same as before, but I don't think it's kind of cutting out at a lower amperage, which might be right, I don't know. At least that would maintain a charge, wouldn't it, if you were, you know, out on a drive. Okay, I'll leave it there while I have a think about it. I've got to do, it might just be indicating that the battery is, you know, charged up now. Be interesting to see if I put the other one back on, if it goes a lot higher. I might do that. Okay, back in a bit. Okay, this is the new one back on again. As I rev it up, it goes marginally higher than the other one. It don't go any higher if I go with the revs higher. So it looks like, other than this one does charge a little bit more, like about there. That's getting on for 10 amps, I think. Yeah, it's putting out like a solid 10 amps before it cuts out. The other one's cutting out at sort of 4 or 5. I'll have to kind of look at the footage to see where the needle went on the other one. Okay. I might investigate to see what you have to do to adjust that. Because it looks like the other one's working, it's just cutting out earlier than this one. Yeah, okay, I've seen enough. I'm going to leave this one on. Okay, hopefully you can see that voltmeter. I've made a couple of adjustments. This is the old voltage regulator that wasn't charging at all. I'll show you now. Hopefully you can read that. Okay, I think I stopped the recording accidentally. What I did was, you see that tag at the top there on the left? You see that tag there at the back? There, that piece. I bent that back a bit to add a tiny bit of spring tension to the spring, and that upped the voltage a bit. And now when you go into the car, and now when I sit in the truck, you get a bit more of a healthy charge here. There. I think the voltage was too low on that regulator and it was kicking out too early. If I put the headlights on, create a draw. So I'd say that's okay, to be honest. So what I'll do, I'll stick with that. Okay. Good little, another good little bit of it. I did some reading up and I found some good videos on YouTube showing about the voltage regulators. You know, you learn something new every day, don't you, if you're inquisitive. Okay. Thanks very much then. I'm going to call that a success. Cheers then. Bye. Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. Those that have been following my various projects, well, there's only one project, the 32 Sedan. This is the engine for it, and this is now in a position where I can start trying to bolt it into the chassis. The water pumps are in place, the gearbox is in place, the rear mount is in place, everything's in place. There's the chassis. So what I've got to do today is move everything that's in the way, get the chassis down onto the ground, and then work out how to get this motor over there and suspended, and then I can bring the chassis underneath. So I'm going to make a start now, but at least we've got to the point now where we can look at putting the engine into the chassis. Okay, I'm not going to film, you know, me tidying up. You know, you've got better things to do with your time than watch me doing that. So there we are. Here's the motor. Let's get it into that chassis. This could take a little while, couldn't it, with all the moving about. The actual job of dropping it in should be quite easy, but getting ready to do it is what's going to be the work. Okay, I'll bring you back when I've got some progress to show. Ta-da! Da 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 da. Bum 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 bum. Wow, that looks a bit different, doesn't it now? We have touchdown. Look at that. Look, she's a roller. Shall we see if it rolls? I've slackened off that brake on that side. Oh, look at that. Oh, yes. Look at that. I can hear that brake rubbing. Still not surprising. Look at that. Wow. Okay. What I'm thinking is if I can get the engine through here and get it here and on the hoist. Okay, well there's the first part. She's down on the ground. Okay, there's the first part. It's down on the ground, the chassis. So I'm going to stop the camera there and save that little bit of film, because that is, you know, that's another milestone, isn't it? Getting the engine built, getting the transmission built, getting the chassis down on the ground and rolling. So there you go, another little milestone. Thank you very much indeed for watching, and I will bring you back when there's more to show. Sorry. Okay, I've spotted what will be a problem, but not a problem that can't be overcome. The pulley is touching the cross member there, look. So I need to replace that with a single pulley, or just turn that extra sheave off that pulley. Still, that's not bad though, is it? I'll carry on removing that. Almost went without a hitch, that, didn't it? Second, reverse. 2 gears at once means it's locked. Well, there we are then. Well, there we are, the motor's in. Let's do a little roundup of, you know, some take homes from this. First of all, being able to turn that shaft was very useful, so I put a pair of grips on there and just use that to turn the shaft, to rotate the UJ to get it lined up, and that worked ever so easy. You saw me do that in real time. So having the lid removable is one thing. I have a clearance problem between this 32 cross member and that pulley. Okay, no problem, I'll sort that out. What else? It has set down a little bit. It's still pretty high, but with the radiator on it'll come down a bit more. But at least, you know, it looks okay, doesn't it? I did notice it was difficult to steer it, you know, with the extra weight on it. And just silly little things like, when you need to do something quick, just grab any bolt that will do it, just to hold it. You can sort the correct bolts out later. You know, I could spend an hour looking for 4 7/16 bolts to go in there. Other than that, no, pretty good. I didn't do a lot of talking. I didn't do any talking actually, because sometimes you just want to get on with it. Until something happens that, you know, is a problem, like the pulley, you don't need to say anything, do you? I think that went very well. So there we are, another little milestone. The engine and gearbox in the chassis, mated up to the torque tube. I can now tinker around, you know, off camera without the pressure of making sure the batteries are charged, making sure the sound recording's okay. And what I did, I set up a secondary camera there, because on these jobs you do want to capture the video and you do want to capture the audio, hence two. I've got a primary and a secondary audio thing there. So anyway, let's call that a session then. From now on it's just tinkering, isn't it? I think it looks great. I quite like the high setting, you know, chassis. The chassis, I mean, look at that, you know, there's a lot of gap there, isn't there? You can get under it and work on it without having to jack it up. Okay. Once again, thank you very much for joining me in the garage. Thank you to all my subscribers. You know, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. It doesn't hurt, does it? Click like, leave a comment. I always like it when people leave valid comments. Thank you very much for joining me then. Bye.